going to open up the slide for you. So Jenny's going to shuffle over here.
Hi everyone. So as Colette mentioned, I'm Jenny. I'm a second year Esprit in the Consumer Commercial program. And I wanted to share a bit about my background before GSK and also my experience on the Esprit program so far. So I didn't do the Esprit internship, but I think sharing a bit of my journey on the program will hopefully help you understand what Esprit and GSK are all about. So I am from Sweden originally, but I grew up in Germany and Norway before coming to the UK to study. And after studying human sciences, I decided that I wanted to move into business and I wanted to get a good grounding. So I decided to apply for rotational programs. And I think that's a theme that I've now continued after my MBA with the Esprit program. But at that point, I worked for Lloyds Bank and I did rotations in various parts of marketing, sales, and in communications. And I, after my rotational program, took on a permanent role in their corporate communications team. And I found that was a really useful start to get this kind of understanding of different parts of the business. After 3 years with Lloyds, I then moved on to work for London Business School because I wanted to experience a new challenge in a new sector. And I moved from corporate communications into alumni and fundraising marketing. So far you can hear that this is all very different from working at GSK. But 6 years after I started at London Business School, I again felt like I was ready for another challenge. And I decided that after having worked in services so far in my career, I really wanted to work with physical products and ideally in the consumer goods sector, because as a marketer, I was fascinated by brands and about the kind of strength of the brands in the consumer goods sector really is what appealed to me. So I decided to stay at London Business School but to do an MBA. So I did my 2-year full-time MBA and during that time focused all of my sort of networking and my internships and projects on the sector that I wanted to go into. So I did a market research project with L'Oreal part-time, which was a really great way to start to understand whether this was the sector I was interested in. And then did my full-time internship at Johnson & Johnson for 3 months in their Spanish office, working in consumer marketing, working on the launch of their Neutrogena Hydro Boost range, which was a great way to really stress test that this was the sector that was for me. And I think the experience of working with a major brand and understanding what a product launch was all about and the various elements of that, I think was a great experience that gave me a good foundation for then moving into GSK for my full-time role. So the reason why I decided to apply for the Esprit program was because I'd had really, really strong recommendations from a current Esprit who I knew, who said that, you know, this is the best program, GSK is the best company, you really have to apply. And so I did, and when I looked at the program, I realized that this was basically my ideal program in my ideal company because it ticked all of the boxes that I had kind of laid out for myself as my goals for my post-MBA job. So it's a multinational company, opportunities to work in different parts of the business, opportunities to rotate internationally, the chance to work in an organization with values that I believe in, and also a culture that's very supportive, friendly, performance-focused and driven, but also very, very helpful and focused on people and people's development. And I think the other thing that was important to me as well was the opportunity to really get to continue my learning. So it wasn't just that I was going to be doing one role, post-MBA and be sort of in that for 3 years. It was really going to stretch me and help me to continue to learn about business, outside of the classroom, but in the real environment. So I'm in my second year, so my first rotation, which is represented by the first 3 visuals there, was a real mix of roles, but all focused on execution, in-store execution, working with a retailer and really understanding the kind of the front line, I guess, of consumer health. So I worked first with our third-party field sales team, which is REL, and they're the ones that go into the supermarkets and into the stores to make sure our products look great on shelf, the promotions that we have negotiated are actually live, that we have the right kind of space in store, we have the right materials there, because what I learned, which was, I think, a really useful learning to give me my foundation in consumer health, is that it doesn't really matter if you've got great brand plans or you've got great agreements with the retailer, if it's not actually, if your product's not actually on shelf in store or the promotion that you have agreed isn't actually live, then it's all kind of a wasted effort. So the importance of in-store execution was really drilled home to me in that part of my rotation. The second part of my first year was then being an account manager for Asda. So I really wanted to get experience in managing the P&L and in working directly with the customer. So I worked on our allergy portfolio and planned the season, and then implemented that with the retailer and with our shopper marketing team, which was a great, another foundational piece of understanding how the consumer healthcare business works. And the final part of my first year was in a customer-facing supply chain role. So I think that kind of completes my trilogy of understanding the foundations of how we work with our customers, because there I was working not with the commercial part of the retailer, but with the supply chain contacts. So I had to work out how much stock we would need for particular promotions, or if we were listing a new product, how, did we have all the right details, was timing right of when it was going to be ordered? Because again, no matter what great plans you make, if you don't actually have the stock, or the stock doesn't get to the right stores, then again, it's all for nothing. So it was a really useful first year. Now I'm in my second year. I'm a chief of staff to the GM of Northern Europe. So whereas my first year was focused on GB, this year is focused on the whole of Northern Europe. And my role is partly managing the leadership team's kind of operating rhythm, the key meetings for Northern Europe, and also making sure that we have all the right kinds of, strategy in place. We've got everyone's objectives aligned. So basically just making sure that the leadership team is running smoothly. But the second part of my role is also very interesting, because I'm working on improvements across systems, processes, and ways of working to enable us to really streamline and simplify the way we work and enable us to move faster. Because in the consumer goods business, as the name says, it's fast moving. So we need to be always striving to be faster moving in order to win in this business. So that's a little overview of what I did, but I guess the key things I'd say from my experience so far is that I'm very impressed with the program, with how flexible it is. As Colette said, no journey is the same, and every Esprit I speak to has a different journey. So I have really enjoyed my 18 months so far, and I'm now looking forward to my next rotation, which I'll be starting in June, and which is just in the process of being finalized. So I think the flexibility has been really, really great, and the fact that you can adapt it to your interests, working obviously with the business interests, but also kind of shaping it to where the kind of career path that you would like to take. And the second thing I really appreciate is the fact that everyone is so supportive and helpful. I think not just other Esprits who are happy to share their experiences and connect you with people in parts of the business that you're interested in, but also, from across the business, I feel at every level, people are happy to sit down and have a coffee with you and talk to you about their experiences, their journey, or for you to run something past them and get their ideas. So it generally feels like a very friendly and supportive environment, which I've really appreciated, coming from a very different sector and having a lot to learn in a short space of time.